Stephanie, darling, how are you? Oh, hi, Lisa. I'm doing pretty well. I am knee-deep in wedding planning, though, as expected. Yes, one of the best parts about being a bride is planning the wedding. I remember planning mine, and it was so much fun. The flowers, the food, the venue, the music. I was able to get whatever I wanted. Yes, I'm sure that you had a lot of fun. This kind of seems like your type of thing. It's definitely not mine. What do you mean? Are you not having the time of your life? I wouldn't say that, no. I've actually been quite stressed. I don't know if it's different now 25 years later, or I'm just not into planning things, but I've actually been having a really hard time. It hasn't been 25 years. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was your and John's 25th wedding anniversary coming up, though. Nonsense! We've only been married for 23 years. Oh, sorry. Again, I didn't mean anything by it. I just think that there's so much expectation nowadays, with social media and people sharing all of their perfect weddings. It's a lot to take in. I feel like I'm drowning more than enjoying my time. I mean, of course, Matthew has been so much help throughout the whole process. Wait, my son has been helping you with wedding planning? Yes, of course. There's no way I could do this without him. Besides, he's pretty keen on having a few specific things at the wedding. And you're letting him do them? Well, yeah. I mean, we're both paying for the wedding, and it's our wedding. Why wouldn't I let him have some of the things that he wants? Besides, he has some really good ideas. He's quite creative. I think it's a bit unnatural to have the groom weigh in on anything to do with the wedding. Isn't that a little old-fashioned? What did you say? Sorry, I don't mean anything by it. I'm just expressing my opinion. I just think that it's a bit archaic to expect only the bride to plan the wedding. Matthew expresses that same thought as well, and he was more than happy to help out wherever he could. He's a really great partner like that. Yes, with all your equality. I just think that there might be too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, it's a good thing that Matthew and I agree on a lot of things. He has some really great ideas. So do I. When we put our minds together, we could come up with a lot of things to do with the wedding. I'll have to take your word for it. And you're absolutely sure that's okay? You're not pressuring him into anything, I hope. That would be very uncomely for a wife. So, let me get this straight. You actually think that it's wrong that Matthew is planning the wedding as well? That he's helping me out with everything? I'm not saying it's a completely bad thing, but I do think that's a lot of pressure to be putting on him. Well, without him, I'd be planning this wedding pretty much on my own. And besides, it wasn't just my idea. He offered. He offered every day to look into things and make decisions as well. That's honestly why I'm marrying him, because he believes in equal partnership as much as I do. Yes, I remember. You both made a big fuss about it on Christmas a couple of years ago. Well, if you want help, you could just ask me. Oh, I'm sure we have everything handled. Adding in a third opinion might be, what was it that you said? Too many cooks in the kitchen? Well, better your mother-in-law than your soon-to-be husband, am I right? I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. Well, anyways, I meant to ask how planning was going anyways. That's why I texted you in the first place. But I guess you had everything handled. Yep. I guess that's a load off of my shoulders then. I was expecting to help out a lot more. No, you don't need to worry about anything. We have it handled. But thank you so much for offering. I just want to be the best mother-in-law I can be. And I appreciate that so much. But Matthew and I have it held down pretty well. So, does that mean that you have details that you can share? The venue, food, music, color. I'm dying to know how this wedding will look. Besides, I do need to buy my dress, and I wanted to make sure it's on theme. Of course. So, we're getting married in an outdoor venue with a string quartet for the ceremony. We're thinking of having about 75 people. And then the outdoor venue also comes with a hall where you can do the reception in. Sounds lovely. But are you sure 75 people is enough for both families? Yes, I'm sure. we kind of want it to be close, friends and family only. It is just one night. We don't want to spend our entire life savings on this wedding. So, you're cutting corners? Of course not. I'm not even sure how you would cut corners on a wedding. Well, I just mean that this is not only your wedding, but my son's wedding. I just want to make sure that you're taking the fullest advantage of it. You only get married once, unless we get divorced. Excuse me? Sorry, that was a bad joke. I definitely mean to stay with Matthew for the rest of our lives. I don't think joking about such things is becoming of a soon-to-be wife. There seems to be a lot of things that are unbecoming of a soon-to-be wife. But I assure you that this is what Matthew and I want. We've always wanted a smaller wedding and never wanted one of those big celebrations. Even 75 people is a lot. Not by usual wedding standards, I can assure you. I'm just a bit worried that people will feel left out, and then you're not starting your marriage off right by angering your in-laws, right? I suppose not. I'll have to have a good look at your invitation list. I think it's best. Okay. Just remember that I've been married a lot longer than you. I've done the whole wedding thing, and I know what works and what doesn't. My advice is invaluable. You wouldn't disagree, would you? Of course not. Great. Please send over the invitation list. I'll take a look through it and tell you where you can really improve. Of course. I'll send it right over. Great. And what color scheme are you thinking of? Well, we were thinking of doing something pretty classic. Just a fully white wedding. Of course, the guests and everything would wear different colors, but the majority of the flowers, decorations, and my bouquet would be white. Are you sure? Isn't that a bit boring? We're pretty sure. Besides, that's pretty classic in terms of weddings. I thought you'd be pleased about that part. Then you clearly don't know me well enough. I'm starting to realize that. And what exactly does that mean? Nothing. I guess I'm just stressed about everything. Well, if you accept my help, maybe you wouldn't be. I'm just your mother-in-law, looking out for you and Matthew's best interest. Yes, I know. Sorry if I made you feel any different. Apology accepted. Okay. If you want to send me over other things too, I would be more than happy to give my opinion on them. Of course, I'll send them right over. Perfect.
So, you what? Gave in to every little thing she asked?
It's not funny. She's totally hijacked this wedding.
Why don't you just talk to her? Tell her that you appreciate her input, but that this is our wedding.
I can't tell my mother-in-law that.
Why not? If she respects you as a person, she'll hear you out.
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure that she doesn't respect me as a person.
I'm sure you're just overreacting.
Please do not say that.
I know, I'm sorry. I tried to make a bad joke. No, I know how my mother gets. If you want, I can talk to her.
No, don't. She'll think that I'm just running over to you and asking you to solve all of my problems.
Isn't that what you're doing?
Not funny.
I know, I'm sorry. I can't help it. We wanted a small wedding, and now we're inviting what? 125 guests?
Yep.
My goodness. So I guess we're using all of our life savings. That's a lot of money to spend on one night.
I know, but your mother would have it no other way. She thinks that we should go all out for this.
Again, this isn't her wedding. It's our wedding.
Yeah, but I don't want to get off on the wrong foot with your mother at our wedding of all places. I mean, I know she's already going to be judging me pretty hard. I don't want to give her more reasons to not like me.
My mother loves you.
I'm not sure that she does. There's always a tense relationship between a daughter and her mother-in-law. It's basically illegal to have a good relationship with your mother-in-law.
I'm sure that both of you will be fine. Just talk to one another. Tell her that we don't want to invite as many people.
I don't want to talk to her about the wedding. But if she starts asking me more things, next we'll be having a destination wedding in the Bahamas with a theme of blue and orange.
I don't know. Sounds like it could be fun.
Not funny.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll stop making my hilarious jokes.
I wouldn't call them hilarious.
But you love me for them.
I hate the fact that you're right.
You love the fact that we both use humor to cope with stress.
Yeah, but that means that we barely have a serious conversation. Like, ever.
But it does mean that we have a lot of fun, don't we?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So, just speak with my mother and tell her everything you told me, and I'm sure that you both can work something out. Again, I can always talk to her if you're too scared to.
I am definitely not admitting that I'm too scared of your mother to talk about wedding stuff. I shouldn't be scared of her.
Yes, that's right. He really shouldn't be. If it makes you feel any better, just picture after the wedding.
Do you mean like our
Again,
honeymoon?
I can always... Exactly! 2 weeks in paradise! That's what you should be focusing on.
It's a good thing that we booked a trip before we booked the wedding.
And whose brilliant plan was that?
Yours.
Exactly. I'm full of good ideas. And I assure you that talking to my mother about your concerns is a great idea. What can go wrong?
A lot.
Go, talk to her. I promise that you'll feel better.
Okay, fine. Love you.
Love you too.
Hi, Lisa. Are you free to talk? Depends. Am I going to like what we have to talk about? Relax, honey. I was just joking. What do you need? Can you be quick about it? I'm getting fitted for my dress. Me and all my ladies. Oh, yeah. I guess that's what I wanted to talk to you about. The wedding. Yeah? What about it? Do you need more advice on something? No, not quite. I really do appreciate all the help that you've been so willing to give. But I think I do need to be putting up a few boundaries considering the wedding. Boundaries? About what? Well, again, I can't thank you enough for all the help you've so freely given. It's really made a lot of the decisions easier, I guess. But I do have to reiterate, this is Matthew and I's wedding. As much as he would prefer things to go one way, if Matthew and I want them to go another way, they will. Oh? Like what? Well, for starters, we really do want a small wedding. So I think we're going to have to lower the guest list back down to 75. I know that you think that we'll regret it in the later years, but I think we'll regret not standing up for ourselves and what we want more. Okay. Again, I don't mean anything by it. I just want to make sure we're on the same page about things. I would hate for this to stir up any bad blood between us. And if I let you keep pushing my ideas down, then this will inevitably lead to an argument, which is something I don't want. Besides, I think establishing boundaries early on is very important. When Matthew and I are married, we'll be our own family unit. That means that our decisions are our decisions, and there's nothing much that can be done about them. You make it sound like you're trying to take my son away from me, and I just can't let that happen. That's definitely not what's happening. It was actually Matthew's idea that I talked to you. Oh, really? Yeah, we talked to each other about a lot of things. And pray, what exactly were you telling my son that made him turn his back on me? He hasn't turned his back on you or anything. We were just talking about our concerns about the wedding, about how we had both hoped our wedding would be like versus how it is turning out because we're trying to appease you and your wants. Okay, see, you both were just gossiping about me? No, of course not. We were just talking the way that we normally do, together. We like making our decisions together, and this is one of them, setting up boundaries. I hope you can understand. No, I really can't understand. I feel like I'm being left in the dark about my son's wedding. If you weren't going to take my advice, why did you ask for it? Well, to be fair, Lisa, I really didn't ask for your advice. You asked me if we had any plans and details set in stone, and I told you that. I didn't expect you to come in with all of your opinions about what we should and shouldn't do. I just can't believe this! You're leaving me out in the cold! I'm your mother-in-law! How could you? Please try to understand. We're not leaving you out in the cold or anything. Matthew and I are an adult couple who is getting married. What we want for our wedding is different than what you want for our wedding. And since it is our wedding, we're going to have to go with what we want. I will not try to understand anything. First, you don't want me doing anything about the wedding. You don't want my ideas, input, or advice. And now it sounds like you're going to go back on all of my adjustments. How do you think that makes me feel? Again, I'm terribly sorry about that. I don't want you to feel put out or anything. Well, then, you should have just let everything be the way that it was. That's what I'm trying to do. No, I mean with all of my suggestions. The wedding I had planned for you guys was beautiful, and now it's going to be subpar with you at the helm of planning. Please don't say things like that. Your son and I are working very hard to have a beautiful wedding. We're confident about the plans that we have. I'm sorry that you don't understand that, but that's just the way it is. So what? Now I'm just reduced to a mere guest? How could you? I'm sorry, but this is the best way things can be. This will be in the best interest of everybody. Well, definitely not in my best interest. I'm sorry, but Matthew and I just can't focus on that right now. I'm very concerned about where this wedding is going. Well, good thing that it's not something you need to worry about. Insolent woman!
Wow, she said all the things?
Why would I lie about that?
I know, I'm sorry. I just can't believe that that's what she said.
Well, you better believe it, because it's true. She really didn't take it well.
Well, she's going to have to learn to live with it. This is our wedding. What we want is what matters most, not what my mother wants. And if she has a problem with that, then I guess we'll just have to uninvite her.
You don't mean that, do you?
Of course I mean it. I said it. If she keeps bothering you about this, then I don't want her at the wedding. You know that she'll just complain the entire time and be a total mood dampener. Especially considering that we're having a pretty small wedding.
I'm sure that it won't come down to that. The wedding is still a month away. We've already made all the final decisions. I just kind of wish I'd said something earlier. I mean, she thought that we were going with her wedding ideas for the last 2 months.
Well, regardless, I'm proud that you told her. I know that wasn't easy for you to do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It really wasn't easy to do. I felt like crying the entire time I was texting her.
Aw, I'm sorry.
Don't be. It's good for me to stand up to her the way that I did. I feel a lot better about everything. I'm sure that now we can just focus on having the wedding that we have planned all along, even if your mother is upset about some things.
I'm sure that she'll just get over it. No matter how upset she gets, there's nothing much she can do, right?
Exactly. It's a waste to worry about things that are out of our control. Did you receive RSVPs from everyone? People should have sent their yeses and nos in by now. Then we can confirm with catering and the venue today.
Yep, you actually just caught me in the middle of going through all the emails. It looks like most of everyone can come. Wait.
What?
No, sorry, everything's fine. Well, maybe not really. But everything with food, flowers, and venue is okay. I'm looking through all the RSVP emails, and there are a couple that are standing out.
What? How? Are people being really rude about their RSVPs? I made sure to explain in detail that we were having a small wedding. If people want last-minute plus ones, the answer is no.
No, it isn't that. They're apparently saying that they received an email from someone saying that they're no longer invited to the wedding.
What? Did you get into a fight with some family or something? Did you uninvite someone?
No, of course not. I don't know what they're talking about. But there seems to be like 10 emails saying the exact same thing.
Did they say who the email was from?
I'm just reading through it. Damn it, you've got to be kidding me right now.
What? You're scaring me again.
Apparently, my mother sent out emails to your cousins saying that they're uninvited, that there's no more room left in the wedding for them.
What? My cousins are literally like my siblings. I grew up with them. I'm honestly closer with my cousin Denise than I am with my own sister. What the heck?
Yeah, they're pretty confused too. They don't sound too upset, luckily. Just more confused and maybe a little bit sad.
What the hell is going on? Why would your mother uninvite a whole bunch of people?
Well, did you uninvite her from all her wedding planning documents? If you gave her access once, she can go back in and change things and get information.
Oh my goodness, no. I didn't. I was so upset with the conversation that I didn't think to do that.
Well, turns out that she's been at work and inviting your cousins. It doesn't look like anyone else's.
Why the hell would she do that? How could she have the audacity to do that? She uninvited people from our wedding? What for?
I don't know. Maybe we didn't invite family members that she thinks deserve to be there or something. My mother is weird about things like that.
Well, they give her no right to do what she's done. I can't believe that woman.
I completely agree. I'm going to phone her right away.
No, I'll text her. Can you email them back and say that those emails were a mistake, sent by someone not involved with the wedding planning at all? And then maybe move them even closer to the bride and groom table. I feel so bad that they thought I didn't want them there.
Yes, I'll do that right away. Are you sure you want me to talk to my mother? I doubt that she'll go down without a fight.
Yes, I stood up to her once already. I'm not afraid to stand up to her again. Actually, if she's going to pull things like this.
Okay, if you're sure. And if she's really fighting you on it, then just uninvite her.
Are you sure? I mean, that's your mother. I don't want you to feel like you have to uninvite her. I swear, once we get everything sorted, it will be fine. I might just not talk to her all that day.
No, I'm absolutely certain. What she did was super disrespectful to you, especially after you expressed your wishes. If she can't understand and honor that, then she doesn't deserve to go to our wedding.
I seriously love you. Do you know that? Lisa, we need to talk. Now. Wow! Has Bridezilla emerged? With a month left to go on your wedding? I should have figured that an egomaniac like you would be a Bridezilla. Oh, I am the egomaniac? You uninvited my cousins to the wedding. Well, I wouldn't have to do anything like that if you just agreed to the 125-person wedding. But after our last conversation, it became startlingly clear that you could not handle the wedding planning. Excuse me? You're obviously way in over your head. I just couldn't handle the idea that my son's wedding was being planned by someone who couldn't make up their mind. Make up their mind? Where the hell did you get that idea? Well, first you asked for my advice, and then you go back on your word. You make all these changes to your wedding last minute and then undo them. How else am I supposed to feel about that? My son's day was going to be ruined by a woman who didn't know what she wanted. That doesn't give you the right to go and uninvite people from my wedding. Please, you know what I did was right. There's no denying it. Besides, because you nearly have your wedding invite list, I had to make a few adjustments for my friend. What? The solution to your little wedding problem is simple. Uninvite all of your useless cousins from the wedding. We need to make room for my work friends. Your son just told me to uninvite you from the wedding. What? Don't what me. It was bad enough that you went behind our back to uninvite people from our wedding, but finding out that it was so you could have your work friends there? That is the last straw. I was against uninviting you from the wedding, but your son made it clear that if you did anything like this, I was A-okay with uninviting you. You can't be serious! I am Matthew's mother! You can't have a wedding without me there! Actually, we can. In fact, I think our wedding would be a lot better without you and your presence staining everything. Excuse me? You've been nothing but negative about this wedding. You try to hide it by pretending to be helpful. But really, you've just been judging my and Matthew's decisions when it comes to our wedding. We both agree that it would be a lot happier without you being there. So, you're uninvited. You can't do that! You're gonna have your useless cousins there instead of me? My cousins are some of the closest family I got. You had no right to uninvite them, and I would much rather have 100 of them there than have you there. How dare you! I won't let you do this! It's already done. There's nothing you can do. Just wait until I tell everyone about what you've done. No one will want to go to your stupid wedding. Yeah, we'll see about that. Goodbye, Lisa. Lisa started her campaign against our wedding immediately after that. Apparently, she personally messaged everyone on Matthew's side of the guest list. She said that we had rudely kicked her out of the wedding for no good reason. Matthew and I thought that we would get a few cancellations from that. However, surprisingly, everyone sided with us. Even Matthew's father was understanding and insisted on coming to the wedding by himself. It turns out that this wasn't the first time Lisa stuck her nose into somebody's business. Matthew's side of the family, who have grown up and lived with Lisa their entire lives, saw through her lame complaints. They were quick to disregard anything she had said. With all that behind us, Matthew and I are able to focus on being present for the last bit of our wedding preparations. The wedding turned out beautiful, according to all of our guests, and we received many compliments on the all-white decor. I thought that Matthew's mother might be missed in the photos, in the getting ready, and in the actual wedding, but it turns out we had a pretty relaxing day. And that could only be because Lisa wasn't there.